Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Blissful Literati. For the last couple of sessions, we were having some glimpses of the wonder that is India. We started with a sumptuous breakfast of pav and bangals, the delicious bread from Goa brought to India by the Portuguese, and then we had set out on a trek to Kurg, where we witnessed the ethereal beauty of God's own land. It has been a hectic trek, no doubt, but before we end our journey, our tour coordinator has arranged for a nice cup of Assam tea. Brookbond Taza or Tata Tea Gold, that I don't know, but he says it is the second flush, that is the best flavor one can expect in a cup of tea. Let's sit for a while and gently sip our aromatic cup of tea and listen to its story. The story of tea as we follow Pranjal and Rajveer to the heart of Assamese tea estates. Our host and guide Arup Kumar Datta was born in 1946 at Jorhat in Assam. He is a writer as well as a journalist by profession, and his works include The Kaziranga Trail, The Blind Witness, A Story About Tea, Smack, The Crystal Cave, The Boy Who Became King, Chagaram, all these children's fiction as well as a really well-known non-fictional work, The Tea Story. Because of his contribution to children's literature, he was awarded several times. He won children's book prizes from Children's Book Trust, Shankar's Award, Journalist Welfare Foundation Award, as well as the NCERT Book of the Year for Revenge in 1987. He was awarded Padma Shri by the Indian government. Now, before we move further into the story, let us talk about the themes. For themes, we have glimpses of India. This text makes us aware of the tea culture of Assam in particular and India in general. It talks about friendship and finally provides a visual description of Assam and its tea gardens. Talking about Assam and its tea gardens, let us have a pictographic depiction of this text. Here we can see this tea garden as well as a tea plucker. You see the basket on her back? That basket is used to keep all the tea leaves that she is plucking from the garden. Let us now move on to the summary of this text. Pranjal and Rajveer are classmates in Delhi. During summer vacation, Rajveer, a boy from Delhi itself, decides to take up Pranjal's invitation and visit his home in Assam. Rajveer is really excited about this trip as he is going to experience tea gardens from such close proximity the first time in his life. Pranjal is not so much excited as he has grown up amidst tea plantations. Rajveer regales Pranjal. Regales means to entertain with stories. So Rajveer is basically entertaining Pranjal with many myths, legends, and trivia surrounding the tea culture. Upon reaching Assam, Rajveer impresses Pranjal's father, Mr. Borua, with his knowledge as he correctly points out the sprouting period which produces the best tea. Now, before we start analyzing the text, let us take this time to learn the word meanings first. First of all, we have the word youngster. Youngster means a young person. High pitched means having a high pitch or a shrill voice. Saab is the shortened form of Sahab or Sahib, a respectful address to someone of a higher social hierarchy. Buried his nose is a phrase which means to be reading with rapt attention. Ardent means showing strong feelings or devout. Magnificent means very good, beautiful, deserving to be admired. Sturdy is something strong and solid, something which is not easily broken or destroyed. Twigs means small thin branch of a tree or some plant. Meditations, giving attention to only one thing, as in a religious activity or to calm one's mind and be relaxed. Beverage is a drink of any type. Veered means to change direction. Pruned is to cut off branches of tree or plant so that it may grow properly next time. It is actually a cut off necessary parts. Tea pluckers, people who pluck the tea leaves in a tea garden. Finally, sprouted means to produce leaves or begin to grow. Now, as we read this text, we learn that this text is full of facts. It's a treasure trove of several key facts. Now, before we move further, let's open our fact files and have some fact checks. First of all, Assam has the largest concentration of tea plants in the whole world. Tea is a really popular beverage as more than 80 crore cups of tea are drunk every day throughout the world. Man, that's huge. I mean, 80 crore cups of tea. I think tea holds this record of the most drunk beverage in the entire world. Perhaps, I'm not sure, but 80 crore cups? Most likely. Tea was first drunk in China around 2700 before Christian era. Words like chai, chini, etc., they are all of Chinese origin. Tea entered Europe in 16th century and then it was taken more as a medicine than as beverage. The tea pluckers traditionally carry a bamboo basket on their back, wear plastic aprons as they go on plucking tea leaves. Finally, the second flush or the sprouting period which yields the best tea lasts from May to July. Now we will have discussion on several points, but before we start, let's stop for a moment to admire this beauty of a Assamese tea plantation. All the people they have gathered there, it indicates that perhaps this is the plucking season. All of them, they're carrying this basket behind their back, the basket which they use to keep the plucked tea leaves, which are then taken to the industries where they're processed, and we finally get it in front of us in a steaming cup of tea, morning tea, evening tea, or any time throughout the day whenever we want it. This is the process, this is where it all begins. So first of all, we will discuss about the characters. You see, Pranjal is from Assam. He studies at a school in Delhi. During the summer vacations, he is going back to his home. His father is the manager of a tea garden in Assam. His friend Rajveer is accompanying him on this journey. Rajveer has a really inquisitive mind, and this journey has brought to him a completely new experience. So much so that, despite being an ardent fan of detective fictions, he cannot sit still for a moment to concentrate on the story. He is thrilled to see the tea gardens from the train window. Pranjal's parents had come to receive them at the station. When Rajveer correctly points out the sprouting period of the tea season, Pranjal's father is impressed with the level of homework that he had done before coming to Assam. His curiosity and knowledge doesn't make Rajveer proud. He is really humble and courteous. Next, we will talk about the location. Pranjal and Rajveer studies in Delhi. Rajveer is from Delhi, but Pranjal actually comes from Assam. Now, Assam boasts the largest concentration of tea plantations all over the world. The two boys get down at Mariani Junction where Pranjal's parents were waiting for them. After packing their luggage into the car, they all together started their final journey towards Dekiabari Tea Estate, where Pranjal's father manages a tea garden. Rajveer, in his retellings of the many myths that surround the origin of tea, takes the reader to China as well, where tea is assumed to be discovered. Apart from all these, we have a mental image of Delhi. And here we have that image. As you can see, this entire crowded area doesn't offer Rajveer a good view of the lush greenery that abounds in Assam. That is why this trip is so important, so exciting for him, and not so much for Pranjal because Pranjal he has grown up amidst all that. So he doesn't recognize or realize the wealth that is lying just all around him. Now, we come to the final part of our discussion, the myths and legends. Now, myths and legends, they are basically stories, stories of the hoary past. Now, all of us, every one of us, we have our own stories. Whomever we meet, whatever we see, whatever we do, all they become a part of a story, all they create a story, or we are all seeking to learn to be a part of some story. Stories are what makes life really interesting. And tea, such a popular beverage, such a popular drink all over the world, it is sure to have so many stories attributed to its name, to its quality. In this particular text, we will learn about two myths and legends which explain how tea came into being. But before all that, there is one small thing to note. You see, Rajveer is from Delhi and Pranjal is from Assam. So it was only natural that Pranjal will know many more things about the Assam and its tea gardens than Rajveer. But in the story, we find it is Rajveer alone who gives so many information, so many facts about Assam and its tea garden. The question is why? You see, living in the urban Delhi society, Rajveer is really excited about his trip to Assam. The verdant landscape is something that he never have witnessed in Delhi and never will. After all, Delhi is all about the city experience. On the other hand, he is visiting a place known for its tea plantations. So Rajveer, before visiting, he has done all his homework before he joined Pranjal on this trip. His excitement is quite evident in this act of his. From him, we get to know that tea was first discovered in China and that too quite accidentally, when some leaves fell into the water that was being boiled for the emperor to drink, thus giving it a delicious flavor. The emperor must have loved the flavor, and that is why he instructed his chef or whoever the cook was to get that flavored water for him every day. The boiled water should be flavored, and how to bring that flavor? To drop some tea leaves and twigs into the boiling water. Apart from the Chinese emperor, we are also told of one Indian myth where a Buddhist ascetic, Bodhidharma, cut off his eyelids because he felt sleepy during meditations. Really, really, was he a psycho? Who cuts off his own eyelids just because he was feeling sleepy during meditations? I mean, that's crazy. However, as we will soon see, this act of his was awarded, it was rewarded. And this, in a way, reminds me of Ramayana. You see, in Ramayana, even before attacking Lanka, Ram was about to worship goddess Durga. Now, he needed 108 blue lotuses to worship the goddess. But the goddess herself, she came and hid one lotus. Now, Ram, he realized that without that particular lotus, it is not possible for him to complete the ceremony. He remembered that people called his eyes just like a blue lotus, and that was the moment when he decided to sacrifice one of his own eyes to appease the goddess. The goddess appeared before him, blessed him, and as we all know, Ram emerged victorious. So, here too, a kind of reflection is there. While the goddess stopped Ram from sacrificing his own eyes, there was nobody to stop Bodhidharma from cutting off his own eyelids. But as he did that, 10 tea plants sprung up. Now, don't ask me why 10, why not 5, why not 9, why not 20? You see, this is a matter of legend, myth. And here you should all suspend your disbelief. Here you should all accept whatever is being told to you and try to learn the lesson which is imparted through these stories. So basically, 10 tea plants sprung up, leaves of which, when drunk as a beverage, enabled the person to overcome sleep. So basically, this indicates that the person, Bodhidharma, he with his sacrifice, he gained this boon not only for himself but for the entire humanity, and we students are really thankful to Bodhidharma because you see, during these exam times, we survive on tea. We drink tea as many cups as possible during the night time because we stay up late at night to study to complete the syllabus. Anyway, thus we come to the end of our journey through incredible India. If you remember, we had our breakfast at Goa, spent a day amidst the lush green nature in Kurg, and washed our fatigue down with a nice cup of Assamese tea. Too bad we couldn't stop for dinner, but hey, who knows? Some other time maybe? Meanwhile, I hope you all understood this chapter well. In case you have any doubts left, maybe you haven't understood something or the other, do leave a comment and we will definitely reach back. Till then, bye bye.